So it is very clear that winter is here for everybody in the Midwest. We did not have very much of a snowy Christmas, or snowy holiday, but it is definitely dropping, and for me, the motorcycle season is definitively over. So I wanted to touch base with everybody, and I don't know what would be the next topic. So we had kind of divulged into the idea of relationships, and for me in this time, kind of taking a few steps back and delving into approaching every relationship like I would a romantic one has been incredibly humbling, I would say. It has improved my quality of life, for sure, in that when I put the same kind of effort I would in any romantic connection, and I also put that towards a work relationship, it definitely smoothed things over in terms of operation. Now, albeit it's very possible that my core values of familial and romantic relationships are probably going to be highest priority, but how much time do we spend at work? At least 8 hours, Monday through Friday, and dedicating at least 32 to 40 hours a week to something like that is quite a bit of time to be around the same people. So hopefully we make it at least a somewhat pleasant experience, or nothing that would be too harshly miserable, or not anything that would cause too much suffering. Now, I wanted to delve into something that had been uttered by Jordan Peterson, and I'll probably butcher it when he had even mentioned that he might butcher it, but it is a concept in alchemy called in sterquiliniis invenitur. And it was amplified by Carl Jung, talking about, and he's sort of I would say in a very broad stroke sense, the master of the unconscious, the expert in terms of talking about the shadow self. And I have been delving into this concept that if I humble myself enough to kind of pop off my ego and set it aside for a minute, if I observe myself, where are the parts of myself that I'm not looking at? So the quote itself, I believe, literally quite means, in the filth you will find. So if I interpret that, if I take my unconscious garbage that comes from every day, the inputs that I don't really do anything with, and it gets stored somewhere, what could I find? Or what valuable revelations or conclusions could I draw from all that content that gets backed up in the unconscious? How does that influence my current mood? And what I realized was almost all of my mood changes could be attributed to that backup. And I'm not sure if it's because there is a purge that needs to happen of that backup where it needs to be wiped somehow, but given that I have an idea of how memory is, I think things just get stored. I'm not quite sure if there's an actual way to release that. So in response to talking about relationships, I've actually delved into quite a bit of solitude as well. And I have realized that I have become very aware of which relationships I would like to retain, how I would like to retain them, as in how I would like those relationships to show up in my life. I realized that there was quite a bit of period where I wasn't hearing from anybody during the holidays because everybody gets sort of sucked up into their family obligations, which makes complete sense. And I just realized, I was like, wow, it is so quiet. I haven't been bombarded by messages, but I also felt the absence of that community because everybody has been occupied with their family obligations. Now, for me particularly, I have parents who have kind of flown south, so they're trying to stay warm. And then I have other family members that are out very far west. So in that respect, it's just me, myself, and I. So I think that what I did was I tapped into, and this is a tangent from talking about relationships, I tapped into my more youthful self and decided to watch a comedy movie, a religious movie, and there is a version of A Christmas Carol that's a little bit darker, a little bit more serious, which is actually more in line, I feel, with how Charles Dickens wrote. During that time, that era that he was writing, it seemed like there was quite a bit of, I don't know, kind of reminds me of kind of like a gothic kind of approach to writing. It's a little bit darker, it's a little bit dreary, but because of that, you're able to really see those moments of light. And so that's what I'll probably do for my Christmas plan. And I'm glad that I have quality time set up with some close friends around New Year's. So trying to just get through this holiday season in solitude. So we talk about relationships, and then we kind of see how that goes into relationships of all kinds, including work relationships. What is a relationship with your boss, your subordinates, your peers? How can you smooth those over? Can you make it a better quality? And then in complement to that, what is your solitude like when you're not around those relationships? So that's the latest update, and I hope everybody has a wonderful and safe holiday. And, you know, I always throw this out there. Never, ever process these things alone if you don't have to. There's times where you will have voluntary and deliberate alone processing, but if you need to, reach out to me. Help me, Dr. Lee at gmail.com. Send me a DM on my IG. You know the drill. I love hearing from everybody. It is such a blessing to hear from you. And that's it.